Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off at. Right after Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, or the hybrid fruit from the hybrid tree, and the Almighty begins to place judgment. Because you have done this, you're cursed more than all the cattle. Now we're talking about Satan. And more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life. Now again, if you'll remember me telling you, everything is symbolical. Where it says he will eat dust all the days of his life, that's talking about everything he tries to do, he's going to be defeated at it. It's just like when you run behind somebody, and no matter what you do to try to catch up with them, their shoes or feet are throwing dust or dirt your way. Same way with riding in a car. Somebody's in front of you, you're going to eat their dust. So just saying that every time the devil tries to do something to overthrow the Almighty is going to counter-react, and Satan's going to be eating nothing but dust. Okay. And then it says, because you... Oh, okay. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, talking about Satan and the woman, between your seed and her seed. He will bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Now, we got a problem right here. It says, and I will put enmity, and let's change that word enmity so you can understand what that's talking about. War. I will bring war between the seed of Satan and the seed of the woman. Okay? And it's saying that the descendants of the woman will bruise the head of Satan, and you shall bruise his heel. I was talking about where Yehoshua was nailed to the tree. To the woman. Now, another thing is right here, if you'll notice, it says that Satan's going to have seed, and Eve's going to have seed. Okay. Now, you got to remember, the Almighty knows all things. Right here, Satan doesn't have seed. That means children. And Eve does not have any seed. But right here, it begins, where the Almighty begins to tell her. I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. Okay. Now when it says he will rule over you, that just means he's in charge. Doesn't mean you're supposed to treat your wife, husbands, like a stepchild, or like your servant. Because we know from the Gospels, it says that Yehoshua, Jesus, loved the people, or the assemblies, and he laid down his life for it. So ought a man love his wife. So, basically what that's saying there, fellas, you're supposed to serve your wife. You're supposed to provide for your wife. You're supposed to make her feel like a queen. Isn't that not what Yehoshua did, Jesus, to his apostles? He empowered them. He fed them. He taught them. He provided for them. Even though he is and was and will always be the master. Same thing right there, fellas. Same thing right there. And we'll get into some more study on how the wife should be treated and how the husband should be treated. But ain't nobody gonna be treated like any kind of slave or anything. So if you got that in your head, get it out of there. Okay, now right after uh, the Almighty speaks over Eve and says she's going to bear forth seed or children, and right here, verse 20, and Adam called his wife Eve because she was the mother of all that were living. Now that tells you the answer to the question, where did Cain get his wife? It was his sister. And you say, well, that's incest. No, it's not. Until the Almighty declares something to be a sin, it's not a sin. Because we know that Father Abraham, Abraham's real name, married his half-sister. Right? Okay. Now you know where Cain got his wife at. Right there. Okay. And we know that there were no boy babies at this time when he was naming his wife the mother of all living, because not until chapter 4 does she bear forth a man child. She conceived and bare Cain and said, I have acquired a man from the Almighty. She was shocked because she did not have anything but girls before this point. Then she bare forth again, this time, another man, Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Now that's another lesson right there. Now, right here, we're going to go back over to this point right here, where it talks about enmity or war, one with the other. And once I teach you what this means, the seed of Satan and the seed of Eve, you will take note, not at any point after this does he command Satan to do anything whereby he's going to bring forth seed. But we're going to learn what that means right there, where it says his seed. Never at any time does the Almighty say to Satan to bring forth seed. He just says, I'm going to cause your seed to war against her seed. And that's the Almighty, again, counteracting an act which Satan has done. And again, what's going to happen? Satan's going to eat the dust of the Almighty. Because the Almighty will overcome the act of Satan with a counter reaction. And we know what that is. It's right there. Talking to Eve, you shall bruise his head, and you shall bruise his heel. Talking about Yehoshua, Jesus, being nailed to the tree. Now, Yehoshua is the master's name in Hebrew, in case any of y'all are wondering. That's his name in Hebrew. And in Aramaic, it's Yeshua. And in English, it's Joshua. And then from there, the Greeks had their own translation of the name. And then when it was translated into Latin, they changed it to Jesus. But it wasn't pronounced Jesus. As time went by, the J sound come up with J for J, Jesus. But in the beginning, it had an H sound, just like it does in the Spanish language today. You know, Jose is spelled Jose. And anyway, we're going to learn what's really going on here. And after we clear all this up, it's going to make the scriptures a lot more clearer for you to understand. Just know this. An evil tree is not a human being. Because it says an evil tree cannot bear forth good fruit. In other words, it's impossible because it's evil. But a good tree can bear forth good fruit because in reality, it is good because it's made by the hands and by the mouth of the Almighty. Now, I'm talking about human beings. It's all symbolical, again, because we know we're not trees, but we did have a vision that was brought forth in the Gospels where it says that the blind man's eyes were opened up and he saw everybody as trees. Again, it's all symbolical. We'll get into that later. But that's the lesson for today right there. Now you know where Cain got his wife at. I made it a little bit more clear for you, I hope. And now we got the woman bearing forth children. Because right there on 20, it says that Adam named his wife Eve because she was the mother of all that were living. Sorry if it focuses in and out, because I got this thing on it's like a necklace looking thing, but it's made to hold cell phones, and it's like a cable. And I'm just trying to make it where I can talk, hold the Bible, and record all at the same time. Okay, now on our next lesson, we're going to learn about the seed of Satan. And where does the seed of Satan come from? And where does the war begin between his seed and her seed? And why did the Almighty flood the whole earth? And how the whole earth became corrupt? Okay. Thank all y'all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you.